The summer before my senior year was supposed to be a time of freedom and fun, but my plans took a turn when I was asked to help clean up my late aunt's house. It was an old Victorian, filled with dusty antiques and memories. I didn't know much about her, just that she had lived alone for years, and that her home was rumored to be haunted. On my first day, I felt an uneasy chill as I entered the house. The air was thick, and a musty smell hung in the rooms. I began in the living room, sorting through boxes of faded photographs and dusty trinkets. As I worked, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. After a few hours, I decided to explore the second floor. The stairs creaked under my weight, each step echoing in the silence. At the top, I found a narrow hallway lined with closed doors. One door at the end caught my eye. It was slightly ajar, and a sliver of darkness peeked through. Curiosity pulled me closer, and I pushed the door open. The room was small and cluttered, filled with furniture covered in white sheets. My heart raced as I stepped inside, but I felt drawn to a corner where the sheets were heaped. I pulled one away, revealing an old, ornate mirror. As I wiped the dust from the surface, my reflection stared back at me. But then something shifted behind me. I spun around, but the room was empty. My pulse quickened, and I turned back to the mirror, feeling a chill creeping up my spine. The reflection showed me, but there was a shadow lingering just out of view. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. "It's just an old house," I muttered. But as I studied the mirror again, the shadow became clearer, a dark figure standing just beyond the edge of the glass. My heart dropped. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. There was no answer, just the oppressive silence of the room. Suddenly the temperature dropped, and I felt a rush of cold air. The figure in the mirror moved closer, its features still obscured, but I could sense its presence. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled back, knocking over a chair that clattered to the ground. "Get out!" I shouted, backing away from the mirror. The shadow seemed to laugh, a low, guttural sound that sent chills down my spine. I turned to flee, but the door slammed shut with a deafening bang. Frantically, I pulled on the handle, but it wouldn't budge. I pounded on the door, shouting for help, but the house swallowed my cries. The whispers began, soft at first, like a distant wind, then growing louder, echoing in my mind. "Stay with us." I could feel the air thickening, pressing against me as the figure drew nearer in the mirror. Its face remained hidden, but I could feel its eyes boring into my soul. I turned back to the door, desperation flooding my thoughts. "Let me out," I cried, tears stinging my eyes. But the shadows were closing in, wrapping around me like a fog. In a moment of sheer panic, I lunged at the mirror, desperate to break the connection. I grabbed a nearby lamp and swung it at the glass. The impact was jarring, and the mirror shattered, shards flying in every direction. The room erupted in chaos, the whispers turning into shrieks of rage. I felt the cold hands of the shadows grasping at me, pulling me toward the broken glass. I screamed, fighting against the pull, my heart racing. As I finally managed to push through the door, flinging it open, I stumbled into the hallway, gasping for breath, the weight of the darkness pressing against my back. I ran down the stairs, not stopping until I reached the front door. I burst outside, the fresh air hitting me like a wave of relief. But as I turned to look back at the house, I saw it. The shadow was standing at the broken mirror, a dark silhouette against the window. It raised a hand, and for a brief moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of loss and despair wash over me. I sprinted down the street, my heart pounding. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still with me, lingering just beyond the shadows. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard the whispers return, soft and haunting, echoing in the stillness. "Come back." I knew then that the house hadn't released me. The darkness had taken a part of me, and I could feel its presence lingering, waiting for the moment I might be drawn back into its grasp.